talk about,
Oh
or
no, I'm
anything you
free.
wanted to focus on?
I'm open to anything, any question.
Okay. Okay, great. All right, so I'm here with Dr. Paul Wong. Dr. Wong, thanks for coming on the Fit Mind podcast.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so this is a topic that I've been wanting to address for a while, and in some previous episodes, we've mentioned this kind of meaning crisis that humanity's in to some extent. And I'm curious how you would summarize what's going on. What are the underlying issues?
Okay. Right now, most people are affected by the pandemic. So we can talk about existential crisis or meaning crisis at two levels. Humanity as a whole, during the pandemic especially, feel that our very existence is being threatened by natural disasters, by climate change or man-made disasters, the nuclear war. So we don't feel too secure, too safe, on a collective level. But most of the time, our meaning crisis occur at the personal level. Now, here the catch. A well-developed cortex is both a blessing and a curse. A blessing means it allows us to invent amazing gadgets and create arts and literature. But on the downside, we can imagine all kinds of bad things might happen in the future. That gives us a lot of anxiety. Worst of all, that we can imagine our own demise. We can foresee that we're getting old, we're going to die. So that can create a lot of anxiety. So a lot of meaning crisis dealing with the prospect of dying. Now the second area is also very interesting. Freedom is a blessing, right? We are free. You can free to choose whatever you want. You can choose to be a monk. You can choose to be a scientist. A few months ago, a group of young nuns came to visit me. One of the young nuns was doing Ph.D. in UCLA, a very smart girl. But she decided to give up her Ph.D. to be a nun. So that's her choice, right? So with the freedom of choice also comes with the anxiety that am I making the right choice? Because often one wrong choice leads to another wrong choice, like a decision tree. If you keep on making wrong choices, you come to a point of no return. So the freedom of choice, I kind of yellow, is one major source of existential anxiety. And the other part is loneliness, especially during the lockdown. Many people find it intolerable to be by themselves. They go crazy. If they cannot go with their friends and do things together with other people, they don't know what to do with themselves. So loneliness and isolation is another source of anxiety, but also is a blessing because it's only when we are by ourselves that we are able to have time to get to know our soul, get to know our real self. So it's anxiety, but it's also a blessing. So I'm saying that all kinds of existential anxiety has both a downside and a plus side.
Right. Yeah, it's a great point, and it really is this paradox of choice that we have so much freedom, which is something that we love, but at the same time, that choice can lead to all sorts of anxiety. And perhaps the greatest choice we have is what to believe in, because up until the last couple of centuries, we were always told by either our grandparents or our tribal leaders or the mainstream religion what it was to believe in. And yet now we have this kind of choice of what to believe or how to live our lives, what framework to design for ourselves. And what I love about your work is you've actually thought about this in a way that people can apply it to improve their minds. And I wanted to touch on the meaning mindset. So what is the meaning mindset that you talk about, and
Okay.
how could someone start to apply it?
Okay. Let's start off with what we believe. Okay. Do you know that it's really scary, because what we believe is crucial for our well-being. You know why? Because what we seek, what we perceive, depends on what we believe. William James, the father of psychology, he was struggling with the problem of having a sick soul. He was troubled by depression, anxiety. He had fighting with all kinds of problems. Do you know what saved him? What saved him is that one day he said that I have to believe that life has meaning. If I believe life has meaning, then I'm more likely to find meaning. I have to believe.
He has to believe that life has meaning.
So if I believe that, I'm more likely to find meaning. Secondly, I say, I have to believe if God exists. If I believe that God exists, then I'll have more hope, more comfort. So that belief saved his life. I believe the turning
The
point.
belief in a higher power.
Same with Kierkegaard. I mean, Kierkegaard is the most influential existential philosopher. He's struggling with depression, anxiety. At first he said, beauty in life is our salvation. You find beauty. And then the second stage, you say, do what is ethical, I'll find salvation. You might do the right thing. Finally, he decided that's still not enough. So the final stage is a leap of faith. I don't know where God is, but by my will, I choose to jump a leap of faith, say, I believe there's God. So at that point, he's able to live with his doubts, live with his fear and trembling of life. So often, if they choose to believe that there is meaning, choose to believe that there is God, that is a choice, right? So some people find that choice a lifesaver. Now, meaning mindset basically is from Frankl. Frankl living through hell. In Nazi death camp, life was unbearable. You do hard labor every day, and you don't know when you'll be sent to the oven to be burned to death. There's no future. So what kept him alive is the will to meaning. He chose to believe there is meaning, there's hope. He chose to believe. He chose to believe that meaning can be found even in the hellhole. He found meaning, look at the sunshine, the beauty of the sunshine. He found meaning in looking Imagine that one day he will meet with his wife, even though his wife is already dead, he doesn't know. He finds meaning by imagining that one day he will deliver local therapy in America. So he chose to believe that even in the most unimaginable, horrible situation, you can still find some meaning that enable you to move forward. Mindset simply says that simply the attitude, the lens you wear, that in every situation, here's the key, okay? In every situation, bad things happen. Bad things in and by themselves are neither destructive or constructive. It depends on how you respond to it. A Stoic still say the same thing. I mean, bad things do hurt you. It's your response to the bad thing. Same thing with Buddhism, right? Buddhism says, oh, life is suffering. So life is suffering, that's a first noble truth. We all have to suffer. But if by accepting that life is suffering, you say, well, I can find ways to end suffering. I can cultivate compassion to help people. So there is a way to end suffering. So that attitude, that's your meaning now. Find a way to reduce suffering for yourself and for other people. So that becomes your meaning in a world full of suffering. So mindset is simply says that doesn't matter how bad the situation, how dark the world, if you look at the world with the lens of meaning, say, yeah, I know life is horrible. Fear not. Hidden inside, underneath, there's some gem, there's some treasure hidden in the dark earth. You have to dig deeper. Go deeper in your meditation, go deeper in your prayer, go deeper in your self-examination. You go deeper, you'll find joy in the midst of suffering.